Welcome back. Pro-establishment lawmaker Tam Yu-chung has come under fire over reports he received preferential treatment at a public hospital. As Ronnie Samtani reports, he apologized again today, but refused to answer reporters' questions.
The lawmaker from the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong received VIP treatment when he underwent a minor operation at Queen Elizabeth Hospital this week. Speaking to the media at the Legislative Council today, Tam Yu-chung bowed and apologized for the inconvenience caused. I express my formal apology once again, he said. Reporters pressed for more details, but Tam refused to answer. The DAB lawmaker is accused of abusing his power to jump the surgery queue at the hospital. Medics also arranged for Tam to enter and leave the operating theater through a staff-only area, and his wife was allowed to wait in the staff rest area. The hospital apologized last night, noting the arrangements were inappropriate. It plans to investigate the matter. Health Services lawmaker Joseph Lee said he was baffled to hear that visitors were given access to staff-only areas.
As far as my understanding is concerned, the staff restroom is rest inside the operating theater. That means that it's become part of the operating theater. So that is a kind of aseptic area which no visitors are allowed.
Another lawmaker, Kwok Ka-ki, was outraged. He pointed out that government officials like the chief executive have been abusing their power. Kwok said he will demand that the LegCo Committee on Members' Interests conduct a full investigation. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
Another Hong Kong resident has been admitted to hospital after receiving Botox injections on the mainland. She is now in stable condition. The 41-year-old patient received Botox shots to her forehead and eyes in a beauty parlor at Lo Wu Commercial Center last month. 3 days later, she started to feel dizziness as well as numbness in her face. She was admitted to Caritas Medical Center for treatment yesterday. A preliminary diagnosis found the woman is suffering from botulism. This is the fourth case of suspected botulism in Hong Kong related to Botox injections on the mainland.
For the first time, the Urban Renewal Authority is carrying out 3 redevelopment projects in the same area. It wants to build a small community in To Kwa Wan. Caleb Leung tells us more.
The Urban Renewal Authority has announced that it will begin the planning stage for 3 redevelopment projects in To Kwa Wan. The 3 schemes, which are next to one another, cover a total area of 8,840 square meters. More than 1,200 households and 110 ground floor shops will be affected. Affected residents will be compensated accordingly. The Hong Fook Street and Hon Street development scheme is earmarked for residential and commercial use. Meanwhile, the other 2 projects, the Hong Fook Street, Kai Ming Street development project and the Wing Kwong Street development project, are for residential and retail purposes. The URA says the government requires each new development project to have its own parking lot, but the authority doesn't plan on doing so. The URA hopes to turn the 3 sites into a small community with only one communal parking lot at the site of the Hong Fook Street and Hon Street scheme. That would require the approval of the Town Planning Board.
If the Town Planning Board does not approve this communal car park, we will have to provide individual car park within the other 2 redevelopment sites. The downside is we will lose some of the street frontage for small shops.
The projects are expected to be completed between 2025 and 2026. The total development cost, calculated at current prices, is estimated to be around $10 billion. Caleb Leung, TVB News.
To U.S. politics, and in the name of Republican unity, House Speaker Paul Ryan has finally decided to endorse Donald Trump. All this comes as Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton went after Trump with a vengeance, warning voters that his temperament will trigger wars.
America's highest-ranking Republican insists his decision to back Trump wasn't about the old saying that if you can't beat him, then join him, but rather a meeting of the minds.
And I just wanted to have a good comfort level that these policies, these principles and policies are something that we would be able to work with him on. And it took some time just to have those conversations.
Ryan believes Trump would turn the policy agenda of House Republicans into laws.
There are a list of issues I wanted to go through. Separation of powers, the Constitution, conservative judges, core principles, and then the kinds of policies that come from those.
Ryan's endorsement is key to unifying the party ahead of a general election matchup against likely Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. On the campaign trail in California, ahead of its primary, Clinton stepped up her attacks on Trump, insisting his radical ideas and bad temper are bound to trigger wars.
Donald Trump's ideas aren't just different. They are dangerously incoherent. They're not even really ideas, just a series of bizarre rants, personal feuds, and outright lies. This is not someone who should ever have the nuclear codes, because it's not hard to imagine Donald Trump leading us into a war just because somebody got under his very thin skin.
But defending Trump outside his campaign rally in San Jose resorted to blows between those for and against him. Police in riot gear had to disperse anti-Trump protesters who burned Trump hats and taunted his supporters. Inside, the presumptive Republican presidential candidate dished it right back at Clinton.
That was a Donald Trump hit job. Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, okay? She has to go to jail.
Tests have revealed rock superstar Prince died of an accidental overdose of a powerful painkiller. Prince, who was found dead at his suburban Minneapolis home in April, died of an overdose of fentanyl. That's an opioid painkiller up to 50 times more potent than heroin. According to a one-page report released by the medical examiner, Prince administered the drug himself, but the date he took it is not known. Fentanyl is a synthetic drug that's being blamed for a recent surge of overdose deaths. Patients who build up tolerance to other prescription drugs sometimes seek out stronger drugs, such as fentanyl. Because of the risks, it's tightly controlled by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Next, a fresh bid by the international community to revive the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. U.S., European, and Arab diplomats today opened talks in Paris under a French-led initiative. Neither Israel nor the Palestinians took part in the meeting, but France hopes it could lead to direct talks between the two sides by the end of the year. The most recent round of negotiations broke down 2 years ago. Among the key sticking points, the future of Jerusalem and Jewish settlements in the West Bank. Right, Chris, over to you for sports.
Yeah, and some NBA to get going. The Golden State Warriors capitalized on their depth to take Game 1 of the NBA Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jamison Wong with the highlights.
The rematch from last